What's up everybody? As always, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I've now been working more and more of my real job's office rather than just working at home. And that means I'm constantly on the move, whether I'm packing my bag to go to the office, come back home, go work at a friend's place, for example, or even go work at a cafe every now and then. And that means I've had to be a lot more careful about my backpack setup so that it would always allow me to just work no matter where I was. And that's what this video is about. It's about building the perfect work from anywhere backpack setup. I split this video into three categories. We have, of course, the backpack, the focus of this video, and then all the tech and gadgets that goes into there to allow me to get the work done anywhere I am. And then finally, we have organization as well as charging, so cables, dongles, all the stuff that I need on a daily basis. Do keep in mind that depending on what you do, this whole setup might not be perfect for you. I personally work as a UI UX designer, and then all of my free time is spent on content creation. So some of the stuff I carry around are for those two specific things. However, I did try to be mindful of other situations, so I'll be recommending different things for different people as well. When it comes to the backpack, I wanted something that looked good, but it was also very functional. And that's why I went with the Work From Anywhere backpack from Native Union, and even the name of it fits this project very well. Some of the criteria I was looking for was it had to be a weather resistant backpack so that none of my gear would, like get drowned in water and then just die. I also wanted to have a padded laptop sleeve and a quick access pouch for different things that I use quite often, or I'm trying to use more, as you'll see in the next section. This specific backpack by Native Union has a few very cool features that you don't see as much on the backpacks. But first, it does come in a few different colors. You have the craft color, which is kind of like a yellow. You also have a slate green, and then the black version, which I went with. And I think that the beige details add a really nice look and feel. Now, there are two pockets from the outside you can access. You have a quick access pocket in the back, and then you have your regular large main pocket. They are both weather resistant, so you don't need to worry about your gear getting wet. Now, when it comes to the quick access pocket, you also have a little place to hide your keys if you want to have access to them really fast. And then in the main pocket is where you have most of the stuff like you would expect. So you do have your padded laptop sleeve. You also have a zipped pocket if you want to put some stuff that you might access a bit more often in there. You have a space for your water bottle, and you also have a very clever little place for an AirTag that's hidden away. So if you ever lose your backpack, it'll be really easy to find it. And if it gets stolen, I think that, well, the people will have a hard time to even find those AirTags. So I think it's a very cleverly placed little AirTag pop. It also offers a bit more organization for stuff like maybe if you carry an extra storage or pens or notebooks and stuff like this. This bag can also double as a tote bag because of the two handles. I have to say, I've never used it that way. I prefer to have a backpack anyways. I feel like it's easier to carry around. And it also has a luggage strap, which is very useful. If you're someone that travels a lot, you can just put your luggage the bag on the luggage and it won't move anywhere. I think it's a very cool idea. Now, the only downfall to this bag is I have to say it's not like the most comfortable bag I've ever seen. But it's perfect if you're someone like me that's more of a commuter, or even like on the occasional time I'll go like take a long walk in the city and take pictures and stuff. And it still does the job, but it's something to keep in mind. Now that you have your bag, of course, you need to have all the tech items that allows you to get your work done. And this all starts, of course, with a laptop. I personally carry the laptop that my job gave me. It's a 2019 Macbook Pro with the M1 chip in it, so it still has the touch bar on there. Whether you love it or hate it, I personally kind of enjoy it. And I have to say, while it's a bit old, it's like 4 years old now, almost 5, it still does the job very well. And even if you're someone like a student that's looking around for a new Mac, I think they're still worth it, even though they're kind of old. I think they'll last for a very long time. The one I have has only 8 gigs of memory, which is not a lot at all. However, it still does the job for all of my UX UI work, but even to edit the occasional videos. And I've even seen people use these for 3D rendering, so I think they're still very good. I know that Apple just released their new M3 chips and their new MacBook Pros, and the difference doesn't seem too big with the ones from last year, so maybe even renting the one from last year might still be worth it. However, for like 99% of people, I would say that the MacBook Air is the perfect deal right now. They're not too expensive, and they're insanely powerful. There are even other content creators that are editing 4K videos on those MacBook Air, so that's a very, very good option if you're in the market for a laptop at the moment. Now, the only big issue with my work laptop is that it only has 256 gigs of storage, which is enough for my day-to-day job. However, if I was to use it for my personal stuff like content and everything, it would not work ever. It's way too little storage. And that's why I actually buy a subscription to Dropbox. It allows me to manage all of my files, and also really like the sharing options on there. So like if I have like a client that wants a specific file, I can just send them their way. Even pictures for content creation, or if a brand wants to see the video before I post it, for example, I can just send them the video, and it works very well 100% of the time. But I do also carry an extra SSD drive, which we'll get into pretty soon. Now, there are stuff that are non-negotiable, such as the laptop, and there are 2 other devices I'll talk about at the end of this segment, but all of the stuff that I'm talking about now isn't always in my backpack, but it is there most of the time. So first, we have a mouse. I almost always have a mouse. However, if I'm going to like a friend's place or maybe at a cafe, I'm probably not going to use the mouse just because I like to carry lighter stuff. And the mouse I personally carry almost all the time is the MX Master 3. However, it is huge. I've talked long and large about why I love this mouse so much, but just quickly, I love the thumb wheel and all the customizable buttons, as well as the ergonomics of the mouse. However, its little brother, the M720 Triathlon, which is also by Logitech, offers almost all of the same features. It can also connect to 3 devices. So if you have like a work computer, your personal computer, maybe a desktop somewhere, you'll be able to use this mouse on all of those devices. It is also very ergonomic while having a much smaller footprint. So if in your backpack, it'll fit way better than the MX Master 3, which is just so huge. The only feature it doesn't have is the thumb wheel. So you can still customize all the buttons for different apps. For example, when I'm using Figma, a software for UI UX designers, I have all these buttons mapped to different actions I need to take quite often, such as switching from a prototype to design view. I also often bring my iPad. However, I have to say it's not as useful as I thought it was when I bought it. It is also from 2019, so I don't have all of the new tech from like the new M1 chips and stuff that are in the current iPads. However, the iPad is too limited for me at the moment for it to be like a really good device. Like I can't ever use it to replace my laptop, for example. And the reason why I still carry it around is mostly just to take notes during meetings or sketch out ideas. And I think it's still cool in meetings, for example, when I'm drafting ideas and can pass it, pass the iPad around with the pen, and people can also draw their ideas. It's not as convenient, however, as just having a notepad. So I do often carry a notepad as well with a few pens. But depending on what you do, for example, if you're a student, the iPad might be able to replace your laptop completely. In that case, you would have to buy also, I think, a keyboard for your iPad. I personally rock kind of a double case situation. The first case is there to make the iPad sort of like a MagSafe accessory. It is from Pitaka, and it comes really useful for their iPad stand, which I always have it in my office. So if I'm not using my iPad, it's on there. And plus, it just looks really cool. Then I have a second protector, which is like a sleeve. I do also carry an external drive. So it's a 1 terabyte SSD drive I got quite a while ago. It's from G Drive, and they're very good. And I use it mostly to back up videos and photos, and well, of course, to extend the storage on my laptop. Now, the 2 other essentials that I always carry around with me aren't things that most people are gonna need, but the first one is a camera, and then the second one is a Kindle. I always keep my Kindle in my quick access pocket, and the reason why is because I'm trying to read more. And if I can default to a Kindle instead of my phone, well, I'll be able to read more. And of course, I won't be wasting as much time on, for example, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. And ever since I've been carrying it around, I've been reading a lot more. It's something I'm enjoying more and more. The one I have also has a backlit screen, which is very helpful if you're reading like in the bus where there might not be as much light, or later at night. And you can store a bunch of books on there, and they're also way cheaper than buying the real paper book. It does take a bit of time to get used to the Kindle feeling, instead of like having a real physical book. And then when it comes to the camera, it's a bit similar to the Kindle. I just want to take more pictures, so I carry around my camera all the time. And of course, I do use it every single day to film content, whether that be for YouTube or in Instagram. I post reels. I used to post them daily. However, now that I'm in the office, it's a bit harder, so I try to post every other day. And the camera I'm using is a Nikon D5200. I do want to upgrade it pretty soon, but this is the camera that my dad lets me use. And I did get a lens on there that I always carry around. It's a 70-300 millimeter lens. And it's not a very good lens because I know I'm going to be changing the camera soon, so I didn't want to invest like $1,000 into a lens. However, it does the job very well for everything that I do, which is mostly just post my videos and pictures on Instagram or YouTube anyway, so I don't really need to have the best quality out there. And even my 2 posters in my office were taken with that lens, and I think they really look good. Ever since carrying this camera, I've been taking like maybe 5 or 10 pictures every single day with it, especially at my job's office. I'm right next to the windows and there are really nice cars that pass every now and then, so I like to take pictures of those cars whenever I see one. And I even used to just go walk downtown in Montreal and just take pictures while I was walking. It was really cool. So it's something I do recommend you do. Just get a nice, not expensive camera. The one I'm using is not expensive at all, but it does the job very well. And just, go around, take pictures. It's really fun. Even if you're in like a family event or with friends, you'll take more pictures if you have a real camera rather than your phone. And now when it comes to organization, cables, charging, all of that, I keep everything tidy in my stove organizer by Native Union. This thing is super useful when it comes to organizing your backpack, and all of your cables and everything just fits in this small pouch, which means if you're on the go, it's really easy to just grab this, leave, and you'll know you have everything in there. It also offers a small quick access pouch. Once again, if you want to keep like a notebook in there, you can't fit too much in there because it's not that big, but something like a passport would fit perfectly in there. It is also weather resistant, so once again, don't need to worry about water getting in there. Once you open it up, you have a bunch more options for organization. However, I'll just talk quickly about what I have in there first, and then we'll go back to it. So the first thing I always keep is a fast GAN charger, which is also by Native Union. And GAN technology means that it can be a lot smaller and way more effective, so you won't get as much heat, for example, from it. And it's really small, so it's very easy to carry around. This one is a 67 watt, which isn't too big, but it's not too small either. I can charge my laptop as well as my phone or my iPad all at the same time in there. Well, 2 devices, not 3. And it does the job very well. And I pair that with their Belt Cable Pro. This one is the 100 watt variation, and it has a few very cool features. First, it is the strongest cable I've ever seen in terms of like durability. This thing is very, very well built, and it even has a warranty for life, so you'll never like break it. You don't need to worry about that. It also has a nice little belt. It allows you to wrap it up and will keep it smaller, and you won't ever have it all tangled up in your little store organizer, so I think it's a very cool feature. This one also comes in 2 different colors. You have a zebra and a black version, and I like the zebra version a lot, like more than the black version even. However, I wanted to go with an all black setup just for the sake of having all black setup. Another really smart thing about this GAN charger is that you have adapters for different parts of the world. If you're, for example, in Europe or in North America, you don't have the same chargers for the wall. And well, when you get this, you get all the adapters. So no matter where you are, you'll be able to charge up your devices. Next thing I always carry around is a dongle by Anker. The MacBooks don't have a ton of ports on there, and I use this every single day, whether I'm working here at home or even at the office. Just plug in my second monitor and it works perfectly all the time. You also have a port, of course, for charging. You have another USB-C port that you can put a monitor in there. And the second USB-C port, sadly, you can't charge it from there, and you can't even put a monitor, so it's used mainly for accessories, such as my webcam when I'm at home, or something like maybe your external drive. And also it can read SD cards, so it's very useful if you have a camera like me. I know the new MacBook Pros do have an SD card slot, however it's not the case for all MacBooks. So that's why I always carry this thing around. And it's super small, so it doesn't take too much space in your little organizer. And then I also like to carry some extra things for my camera, for example, extra SD cards, as well as a few extra batteries, just so I know that I'll never run out of, well, cards or batteries for my camera. Once all of this is zipped up, I put it at the bottom of the bag, and it creates a small space that's perfect for my camera, so my camera won't ever be just, going everywhere and kind of banging around. So it's really the perfect fit. And I like to put my mouse in the little zipper pouch in the bag, because it's a bit faster to access. Another area I really tried to focus on upgrading and making perfect is my desk setup. And if you want to see the desk setup upgrades that I think are really worth your money, go check out my last video on this specific subject. It's where I'll talk about everything that I think is worth upgrading for your setup to make it a place that allows you to be productive and creative.